Glitches in the Matrix are seen as proof that there's more to our reality than what meets the eye. The videos we have for you today show details many don't pay attention to. Illusions, delusions, and confusions. These glitches in the Matrix are very hard to explain. Someone uploaded this 10 seconds of footage from the Giza Plateau in Egypt, and it's been bouncing around the internet ever since. Thin laser-like horizontal lines of red light can be seen inside the Sphinx. The niche itself is sealed off to the public. You can photograph it from a distance, but getting this close requires access that regular tourists simply don't have. Whoever filmed this was inside the restricted perimeter. When footage shows unexplained light activity inside one of the most restricted sites on the planet, people are going to ask questions. Mysterious box. As this motorist is driving on the motorway, his dashcam captures something that is more suspicious than a fluke. The box falls out of the lorry, bounces on the asphalt, and goes back in. But here's the glitch. As it happens, again. It defied the laws of physics because realistically, it should have flown toward the motorist. It makes one question if this really was just a mere coincidence or a glitch in the Matrix. Craziest illusion. A group of tourists enjoying a hilltop view witnessed something bizarre. One guy standing at the top appeared to be completely headless. His body was there, but his head was missing. When the footage went viral, some argued it was just his head hunched down. But after re-watching it, something feels off. The truth might be darker than we think. What do you believe happened? Floating rocks.
Feels like the Matrix.
Don't do what this person just did. A construction worker was caught walking on rocks that are not behaving like rocks. With each step there is a ripple, much like how it happens to water, but these are pebbles. They appear to be in a semi-liquid stage, which is why you should avoid it. Think of it as rock quicksand. If the surface breaks, you can get trapped underneath. But I have no idea what this is, or how it's even possible. Glitching fish. Okay, for this one let's try to explain it, and you let me know in the comments by mentioning its timestamp if I made any sense. While cleaning his aquarium, a man noticed something that didn't look right. As he drained the water, the fish didn't sink with it. Instead, it stayed near the top, swimming calmly, turning and moving its fins like the tank was still full. At first glance, it looked normal, but there was barely any water left. The clip confused a lot of viewers. So here's the possible explanation. There are two fish tanks, and you can't notice the separation between the front and the back one because of the lighting and the angle. There is a thin fish tank in the front with the toilet reservoir behind it. So you can see through the fish tank and it looks as if the fish are in the toilet reservoir. Does this make sense? Let me know in the comments. Glitching rain spot. This was filmed on a residential street in Paris, France. Right in the middle of the lane, there's a small, clearly defined area of asphalt where rain is actively hitting while the rest of the road around it is dry. The person filming clearly notices it too, because mid-clip, they tilt the camera straight up toward the roofline of the building above, looking for a drain pipe, a leak, some kind of architectural explanation, but none is found. The cat circle. This one has no clear explanation. The video was filmed from a balcony somewhere in the Middle East. The footage shows a large group of cats gathered on a street at night, circling a manhole cover in a near-perfect ring. They move together in the same direction, maintaining their formation. Cats have no known instinct to form circles. They don't school like fish, don't flock like birds, don't have any documented collective behavior that looks remotely like this. Floating city. What you're looking at are small shapes sitting above the horizon line. That eerily looks like an entire city block. The footage was shot over open water, believed to be somewhere along the coast of eastern China. Early on, there are two small structures barely visible at the horizon. By the end, a full glass and steel skyline has materialized suspended in the sky. The phenomenon has a name, Fata Morgana. It happens over large bodies of water. But here's what that explanation doesn't fully account for: the scale of what's visible in this footage. Whatever atmospheric conditions produced this, they were aligned in a way that may never happen again in exactly this way. Bird glitched out. The pigeon is frozen in mid-air, wings fully spread and fanned, body perfectly upright, locked in place in open sky with nothing around it. It stays there for several seconds. Now let's speedrun some of these glitches because they are literally so insane. 2 moons.
Gente, eu não tô ficando doido. Realmente tem 2 luas no céu.
For most of recorded human history, a second moon in the sky was the kind of thing that ended civilizations. Ancient Babylonian astronomers maintained meticulous records of every unusual celestial event for exactly this reason. A full moon high above the rooftops, with a second luminous orb hovering close to it. The subsequent captions on the video spiral into Nibiru theory, planetary cover-ups, and the end of civilization. The second object has some of the hallmarks of lens flare. Modern phone cameras produce flare artifacts from bright light sources. What's in this footage is not a few meters across, which is precisely why no one who sees it can fully settle on the flare explanation.
Tem a lua normal e tem uma lua do lado da lua.
Floating palm. The clip showed a palm tree, or the top section of one, with dried fronds splayed out in all directions, and it was in the air, moving parallel to the road, with nothing below it and nothing connecting it to the ground. No rope appeared in any frame. The footage was labeled "Glitch in the Matrix," and it seemed like one. The frozen jogger.
They look like they're running, right? They're not.
Someone on a rural stretch of road in the American Midwest noticed a jogger up ahead. Over the course of more than 30 seconds, the car moves but not the jogger. That figure stays in exactly the same position in the frame the entire time, frozen like a photograph, never getting closer, never moving an inch, while the world around it keeps going.
Found a glitched person. Just wait.
Frozen plane.
This plane, is it moving?
A woman was walking somewhere in the American Midwest, filming herself from below as she looked up into the sky. She noticed a small propeller plane up there, but it wasn't moving. It just hung there, completely fixed against, while the banner was dragging behind it, and you can see it was fluttering with the wind. She could hear the engine. What makes this harder to shake is that it isn't isolated. Dozens of similar reports have emerged across the US and Canada over the past several years. Small aircraft caught on camera, appearing motionless in midair.
It's not moving.
Glitched reflections. A person walked down a corridor where 2 large circular mirrors faced each other on opposite walls, an arrangement that produces what's called an infinite mirror effect, where each mirror reflected the other in an endlessly receding tunnel of smaller and smaller copies. The footage was filmed in portrait mode. The camera pointed directly at the larger mirror ahead, and what it captured looked immediately wrong. As the person moved through the hallway, their reflection in the closest mirror updated normally, tracking every step in real time. But the reflection inside that reflection lagged behind. Disappearing manhole. This is alternate footage of an incident that was already going viral, captured from a second angle wide enough to show the full scene clearly. Drove over a cast iron manhole cover, and then it vanished. The footage has been examined repeatedly, and there is no visible moment of impact, no displacement, no shadow of the cover sliding away. It goes from present to absent in a single frame. Now, this video was captured on China's National Day celebrations where female soldiers were seen marching, and it got glitchy. The training of the 10,000 Kung Fu students was recorded on tape. They were moving like flowing with the wind and created this glitchy sight to watch. Next, we have this big number of soldiers who are moving forward in lines and marching. You can see that when they reached a point, they started turning around and moving in the spaces to create this confusing effect. Now, I must say, a glitch in the Matrix is something you cannot deny, and that's what happened with this girl when she was cycling on her daily track. It was a real copy-paste moment. The people who say glitches are just tricks of the eye, this video is for you guys. This man was driving when he saw 2 deer standing roadside and captured them, but suddenly a 3rd deer appeared beside them like it was already there. I have to say that I am in love with this US Army synchronization. I mean, just see the head movements, the arm movements. They are actually showing us how glitchy synchronization can be like.
Гарри Поттера вызывали?
After watching it, I can just say, how is it even possible? This leaf is floating in the air on its own. If you enjoyed that, comment and like this video. Okay, let's get back to it.
Прямо посреди дороги.
Weird nature glitch. Back in 2022, a strange incident was captured on the coast of Spain. Massive chunks of ice rose from the sea and piled up along the paved path. The chunks were so huge that they broke the steel fence on the coast. Terrified by the sight, people started recording videos. One of the viewers claimed that this phenomenon is known as an ice shove or ice push. It happens when strong winds break up ice and push the pieces onto the shore, sometimes with such force that even rocks are washed up onto the land. Unexplainable glitch.
Power lines, hang on!
Anyone who can explain this footage will get a reply from me. An American truck driver was going from Boston to Newport, Oregon, when he came across something very unexpected. There was electricity on the road, arcing across 2 points, and he didn't react in time. But something unexpected happened. The lightning can be seen on his hood as he drove past it. For lightning to make an arc between 2 points with a distance like that, it has to be at a very high voltage. However, the driver and his truck were absolutely fine, which defies the laws of physics. So help me out in the comments.
Hang on! Close one, real close.
Stuck in the sky. When planes take off, you expect them to fly, right? But not when there is a glitch. These videos capture the moments when 2 planes were caught in the simulation. They are frozen and don't seem to be moving at all. Is it in fact a glitch or just an illusion? Sometimes the headwinds are so strong it looks like that because the plane is moving slowly through the air. And sometimes it's the person's point of view that can trick the eye. Not everything is a glitch, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Man, it's like standing still.
Fork glitch.
Oh my god!
This might leave you questioning reality. It all happened when a few siblings were in the kitchen doing their usual cleanup. Everything seemed normal until a fork got stuck in a bowl in the most impossible way. Only the end of its handle touched the bowl, while the rest of it appeared to float in the air. They quickly recorded the bizarre moment and uploaded it online. However, neither the uploader nor the viewers could decide if this was something paranormal, a glitch in the Matrix, or just physics that no one can understand yet.
Dude, we said the house was full.
Glitching basket. This video was filmed on a tomato farm somewhere in the Mediterranean, most likely in southern Italy or Spain, where this kind of large-scale manual tomato collection is still common practice. The process looks completely ordinary until one of the workers hoists a full basket of tomatoes overhead and tips it. The tomatoes leave the basket, and the basket shoots backward. Here's what's actually happening. This is Newton's third law operating in a way our eyes aren't trained to expect. When the man throws the tomatoes forward, his body absorbs the backward reaction force as normal. But the basket, which he's still loosely holding during the throw, receives a sharp rotational jerk from his wrist motion at the exact moment he releases the load. Because the basket is now suddenly empty and almost weightless, even a tiny force sends it swinging back dramatically. Merged shadows. This video, originally posted by a Korean creator under the label Shadow Mystery, caught several shadow anomalies. The first clip showed 2 bowls side by side with a clear gap of several centimeters between them. Their shadows, however, merged into a single unified shape. You could see the gap between the bowls with your own eyes, and then look down at the surface and find no trace of it in the shadow at all. Glitched man spotted. This was filmed from inside a car on a street in the United Kingdom. and it captures a man trying to cross the road. Grey cardigan, plastic shopping bag, beanie hat, nothing unusual about him at all. The problem is that he never moves. Rising tide. Try to answer in which direction the waves are moving. If you said the waves are moving from right to left, then you're correct. It's a strange optical illusion that makes it look like water is coming from the opposite direction. It's a pretty neat illusion that has an explanation, but what about this next clip? The waves are creating a bizarre pattern as if gravity stopped doing its thing and created this display. Frozen blades. There is a version of this that your brain simply refuses to file under normal. A full-sized helicopter, Argentine flag on the tail fin, and hanging in the sky above Buenos Aires with its rotor blades barely moving. Every camera records at a fixed frame rate, typically 24, 30, or 60 frames per second. Helicopter rotors under normal operating conditions spin at somewhere between 300 and 500 revolutions per minute. At certain specific combinations of rotor speed and camera frame rate, the blade completes almost exactly one full rotation between each frame the camera captures. So, in every single frame, the blade is back in roughly the same position it was in the last one. The camera never catches that. Cat can't walk. Cats are descended from one of the most efficient predators that ever evolved on this planet, the African wildcat, which makes the cat in this video so difficult to process, because what it's doing looks less like hunting and more like something has interrupted years of instinct. Filmed on what appears to be a university campus in China, the orange and white stray is crossing an open road, and it is moving, just in a manner that belongs to a completely different pace of reality. Invisible pass. During an Oklahoma City Thunder vs Phoenix Suns game at the Footprint Center in Phoenix, a Thunder player in the mid-court area delivers a pass to a teammate, but what is unusual is that the passer's arms never move. The ball moved between two people without any physical action. The most grounded explanation is that the actual throw happened so fast the broadcast camera simply never recorded it, which I think is even more insane. Don't you agree? Phantom tricycle. Back in 2023, a woman in Southern California saw something she couldn't explain. A pink kid's tricycle was rolling down the middle of the road, completely on its own. The obvious one first. The road looks flat on camera, but camera angles compress grade. A street that appeared level can have a 1 or 2% slope, enough to get a plastic wheel rolling if something gave it a nudge. But who or what gave it that push? That just raises more questions. Confused people. On the 3rd of July, last year, a man captured an unusual moment on camera outside a metro station in Russia. As people walked out of the metro station, they all walked in the same direction before changing their direction midway. It was really strange how all of them followed the same pattern. Although it seemed like this was an actual glitch in the Matrix, this could be because the path was blocked. But it's still strange to see people stuck in a loop and experiencing a real-life glitch. Glitching balls. This footage shows Rory McIlroy, an Irish golf player, playing in Vancouver, Canada. As he hit the ball, another mysteriously materialized in its place. The ball he hit can be seen traveling further away, but somehow, a totally new ball was just below him. He was totally shocked by this unusual glitch.
Way up in the air, actually left of the green.
Sky glitch. Two friends were out for a nighttime walk in Houston, Texas, when they noticed something strange glowing in the sky. A flare of light drifted slowly across the sky, moving in a way that didn't look like a plane, star, or drone. After some seconds, another ball of light shot upward towards the sky from a mysterious source. They began recording, hoping someone online could explain what they were seeing. They posted the video on social media and waited for answers, but no one was able to answer it.
That whatever it was just shut down the drone.
Split moon. On the 28th of September, 2021, a girl captured a strange phenomenon somewhere in Georgia. The moon was glowing brightly when, suddenly, it looked as if its left side had split. Mysteriously, a narrow line appeared on the moon, began to move towards the edge, and then vanished. It couldn't have been a lunar eclipse because there was no shadow of another celestial body on the moon. It was a full moon with just a single line. Those who saw it waited for experts to give explanations, but no news ever showed up.
Pero ahora se va como haciendo más pequeña, ¿lo veis? Antes-
Hola.
Planet X.
I cannot believe I'm getting this on video.
A man headed towards his house in Toronto, Canada, when it suddenly got dark as the clouds blocked the sun. When he looked up at the sky, he was shocked. He saw another celestial body aligned perfectly beside one of the suns, but no one was sure which one was the real one. Now he was seeing 3 suns lined up together in the sky. This was claimed to be Planet X, and according to Sumerian texts, this is one of the signs of the end of days. Mysterious lights. Strange lights were recently spotted in the skies of Hong Kong, and no one knows what they were. Watch the video carefully. There have been many theories. Some say it's a skyscraper hidden behind the clouds or sun rays through an opening. But the one that has intrigued many, and admittedly even me, is that it's a spotlight, like that scene from the movie Truman Show. Someone messed up, and we ended up witnessing a glitch in the Matrix. What do you think? Katie's glitch. During a recent concert, Katy Perry did something that left everyone talking. While performing, her eye seemed to shift, almost like it was about to flip upside down. It was so strange, it reminded people of creepy dolls like Annabelle from The Conjuring. For a few seconds, it looked like Katy was influenced by something eerie, maybe even a spirit. Was it just a weird moment, or something more? Let me know in the comments below. Vanishing deer. The man who recorded this had no idea what happened here. Maybe you can make a guess. When a doctor from Delaware was driving home after a long night shift, he saw a deer running across the road. Then something unexpected happened. As the deer jumped, it seemed to fade away right in front of him, like it was made of smoke or mist. The moment made no sense, and if his dashcam hadn't recorded the whole thing, no one would have believed what he saw that night. Ocean ring. A man out on the Adriatic Sea was heading back to shore as the sun was setting when something caught his eye just above the waterline. A perfect glowing ring, hovering silently over the open water. He grabbed his camera and started filming. The ring then began shooting bursts of white light outward, steady and deliberate, like signals being sent somewhere. He steered the boat closer, wanting a better look. But the moment he got within range, it was gone. No flash, no fade, just gone. The water beneath it was completely still, like nothing had ever been there. Alley portal. A man walking through a narrow back alley in Memphis, Tennessee, stopped when he noticed something odd at the far end of the street. A faint orange glow was blinking between the buildings, slow at first, almost like a faulty light. He pulled out his phone and started recording. Then it intensified into a tall column of blazing orange light, stretching from the ground straight up between the walls, filling the entire alley. Just a roaring pillar of light wedged between 2 buildings, like something had briefly torn open right there in the middle of an ordinary street. The man shared the clip on social Instagram, where one of the commenters suggested that it might be a faulty transformer behind the wall. Sky door. Residents of Savannah, Georgia, had never seen anything like what appeared in the sky on the 14th of March, 2023. Just after dusk, above the tree line, a glowing ring materialized in the low-hanging clouds. It wasn't moving like a craft would. It simply hung there, tilted at an angle, radiating a steady warm light around its edges, while the center stayed completely dark. Witnesses who saw it in person said the darkness inside the ring felt different, deeper than the night sky around it, like it was open to another dimension. Glowing portal. Late one night on a street in China, a small group of people was standing around when something strange caught their attention. A glowing light had appeared right beside the road. One man walked closer to check it out, and that's when things got unusual. The light didn't fade. It grew. Within seconds, it had expanded into a spinning, swirling mass of blue energy, crackling and pulsing like something being torn open. The people nearby stepped back, visibly shaken. Nobody ran, but nobody moved closer either. Whatever it was, it looked less like a malfunction and more like a doorway. Stargate experiment. Back in 2007, a team from NASA had set up equipment that felt completely out of place. Laptops, cables, and projectors are all running at once. Then they switched it on. A large hexagonal frame lit up, and inside it, something started forming. Blue light swirled and pulsed, slowly taking the shape of a spinning ring, crackling at the edges like it was barely being held together. Smoke began pouring out. Then the man seated nearby knocked on the ground, and a round object rolled out from beneath it. Nobody in the footage looked surprised, almost like they expected it. Swirling depths. A tourist on a boat near the Faroe Islands noticed the water beside them beginning to spin. Slowly at first, then faster, pulling into a tight spiral with a strange orange glow pulsing from somewhere deep below. Steam rose off the surface as the whirlpool tightened. Nobody on the boat could explain what was burning underneath. Then, just days later, visitors near the famous Fountain of Wealth in Suntec City, Singapore, filmed something strikingly similar. The fountain's water had twisted into the same tight spiral, rotating with unusual force. 2 different countries, 2 different settings, the exact same pattern. The viewers could not shake the feeling that these were real-life portals. Mountain visitor. A nature photographer set up near Chilliwack Lake in British Columbia, Canada, hoping to capture the storm rolling in over the mountains. The valley was dark, the water completely still, clouds pressing low between the peaks. Then a strange glow broke through the clouds, brighter than any lightning he had seen before. He kept the camera rolling. Slowly, something descended from inside that glow. A structured craft, ringed with blazing blue light.
What is that? What the f***?
A cone-shaped body hanging beneath it, hovering above the lake. It stayed there for nearly a minute, illuminating the entire valley below. Then it pulled back into the clouds, and the sky returned to dark like nothing had passed through it at all. Cloud portal. Something was rotating in the sky above the Dan Ryan Expressway in Chicago, Illinois, and the man filming it from his car could not look away. Stuck in a standstill, he pointed his camera upward at a circular and dark cloud spinning overhead. It wasn't drifting as normal clouds do. It held its shape, rotating in place, with strange flashes of light pulsing from deep inside it. Not scattered like lightning, but rhythmic, like something powering up from within. The man was left stunned because he had never seen something like it before, and on his way back home, he kept wondering about a portal opening. Porch portal. A homeowner, reviewing his security footage from his porch in Beaufort, South Carolina, couldn't make sense of what the camera had recorded. A bright light had descended from the sky and drifted slowly across the front yard, growing more intense with every second. When he checked, the footage of the night before he left was even more shocking because it showed a swirling ring of blue light forming at the edge of a porch, rotating and looking exactly like a portal. After watching the video, he was sure that something was watching over him from another universe as it was working on a secret project. Portal ring. A resident of Austin, Texas, stepped outside during a storm and noticed the clouds looked different. He left, shocked when a glowing orange line curving slowly through the dark clouds appeared overhead. He took out his phone and kept filming as the trail was getting brighter. Then, without warning, a massive bolt of lightning cracked downward from the center of the ring, striking toward the ground below. He left scared and ran to his home, thinking it might be a sign of an impending apocalypse. Portal opening. A man watching from his balcony in Curitiba, Brazil, noticed a woman standing beside the road below, acting strangely. She wasn't waiting for anyone. She just stood there, moving her hands slowly in front of her, like she was reading something only she could see. He grabbed his phone and started recording. Then a swirling mass of white light opened up right beside her. She didn't flinch or step back. She kept moving her hand through the same motion, as if she had been expecting it. Then, in a single blink, she was inside it, and the portal closed. The man was sure that the woman was not from this world. Portal abduction. security camera at a parking lot in Buenos Aires, Argentina, captured something that left the internet completely divided. A car pulled in and had barely stopped when a bright orb of white light appeared out of nowhere. The two friends inside stepped out, drawn toward it. The light slowly expanded into a full glowing circle, steady and perfectly formed. One of them stepped closer, then walked straight into it. The portal collapsed instantly. The other person bolted to seek help and showed the place to the guard. The incident was reported to the police, but they could not find the missing person. Golden Portal. On the 27th of January, 2025, a woman in Guadalajara, Mexico, stepped outside to take her parcel, but something above the tree line left him shocked. Hanging in the clear sky was an enormous ring of bright yellow light, its edges crackling and shimmering as it rotated slowly, locked in one position. The center was completely hollow, a dark, perfectly circular void surrounded by swirling golden light. She filmed it for as long as it stayed. It didn't drift, didn't fade, just kept rotating like a door waiting for someone to walk through it. Portal in backyard. On the 28th of January, 2025, a homeowner stepped into his backyard and found something unexpected in the grass. A glowing and circular ring, hovering just above the ground and rotating in one spot. It radiated an intense golden light that lit up the surrounding plants. He filmed it from a distance, unsure whether to approach. It held its shape with unusual precision, edges crackling with energy. Then, it simply faded, leaving the backyard completely undisturbed as it had never appeared here. Curious, he shared the clip on Twitter where one of the viewers claimed that it was a hoax. Storm Portal. A man in Bowling Green, Kentucky, heard a loud crack outside during a storm and grabbed his camera. When he pointed it at the sky, a beam of light shot horizontally across the clouds from left to right. Then the clouds began to pull inward, swirling around a narrow, glowing opening. The edges burned with orange light, while the center blinked blue, pulsing in steady waves. Each pulse sent ripples of light flowing straight into that opening, as if the sky were drawing something back in. After a while, everything returned to normal, as if nothing had ever happened here, and left the man thinking that it might be a portal, but no official news ever came out. Ohio Portal. Two sisters staying at a snow resort near Findlay, Ohio, stepped outside one night and stopped cold. Standing in the field just beyond the tree line was a perfect glowing ring of white light, hovering above the snow. It had a dark, hollow center with a single small light pulsing at its core. As they watched, it slowly grew larger, its edges burning brighter with each second. Then, without any warning, it compressed inward, squeezed itself into nothing, and vanished.
That's wrong. You're very interesting.
Mountain Doorway. A hiker was climbing through the snowy hills of Patagonia in Argentina when he saw something strange on the slope ahead. A beam of white light was shooting straight up from the snow. It was thin at the bottom and grew wider as it rose, ending in a glowing ring of orange where it touched the clouds. It just stood there against the gray sky, like a pillar holding the clouds in place. The hiker filmed it for as long as it appeared. Later, scientists said it was a rare light effect caused by ice crystals in the air. But standing there on that frozen hillside, it didn't feel like a weather trick. It looked like a doorway to another universe. Factory Rift. Workers at an industrial facility in Detroit, Michigan, saw something odd forming near the loading area during a routine shift. A strange glow had appeared between the structures, shapeless at first, then slowly pulling itself into a defined form. It shifted and stretched, taking on a triangular shape, its edges shimmering with an amber light, while its center was fixed at one position. Nobody approached it. The workers filmed from a distance, in fear. It held its shape for a while before collapsing inward. After watching this strange phenomenon, they started whispering about portals. Fiery Ring. On the 10th of March, 2025, the sky above Amman, Jordan, did something nobody had a reasonable explanation for. A massive ring had formed in the clouds, rotating slowly in one position above the city's rooftops, its edges radiating deep orange and gold while dark smoke curled outward from the center. It stayed locked in place, spinning steadily like a wheel, glowing intensely from deep within. Thousands filmed it from their buildings and streets below. When the footage spread online, many called it edited, but those who watched it insisted no screen could replicate what they felt while filming it. São Paulo visitor. On the 8th of May, 2025, a man in São Paulo, Brazil, heard a strange sound and he stepped out onto his terrace. What he saw made him grab his phone immediately. Hovering low beneath the clouds was a massive disc-shaped craft, its underside covered in intricate patterns that almost looked engraved, glowing with deep blue light across its entire surface.
You know, UFOs been going wild, so I'm just saying, if I'm catching one, let me go ahead and...
He panned the camera, and the full bottom of the craft came into view, a white light at its center, blinking as a galaxy. Out of curiosity, he shared the video on TikTok, claiming that it was a UFO, but the viewers dismissed it as a hoax. Glitching tunnel. A man exploring the jungle trails near Ubud, Bali, stumbled across what looked like a solid wall of green moss. From a distance, it just looked like overgrowth covering an old stone structure. But as he walked closer and kept his camera rolling, the footage started behaving strangely. The image began warping like the camera was struggling to process what it was seeing. Trees and shadows appeared layered on top of each other. What made him more unsettled was that the glitching only happened inside that tunnel, and nowhere else on the entire trail. The Vanishing Man. We'd tell you what's next, but honestly, you need to see it yourself. Like this video and stay locked in. It's only getting stranger from here. Inside Canary Wharf Station in London, people were rushing in every direction, nobody paying attention to anyone else. CCTV footage captures a man in a dark jacket walking casually through the crowd. Then a figure in a bright red jacket steps into frame, moves close, and the two make contact for just a second. He extended his arm in front of the man, and just like that, the man in the dark jacket was gone. No stumble, no turn, no walking out of frame. The crowd keeps moving as if nothing happened. The red-jacketed figure walks on unbothered, as if he were not from this world, and this was an abduction caught on tape. Military ring mystery. Someone driving along Interstate 40 in Oklahoma pulled over when they spotted something that made no sense. A massive military convoy was rolling down the highway, police escorts clearing the path ahead, but it wasn't the trucks that stopped people in their tracks.
It's slower than the trucks. The lights are getting brighter. Dude, it's starting to spin.
Strapped onto one of the flatbeds was an enormous dark ring, covered in strange markings and symbols, standing several stories tall. People lined the road, just staring. The military offered no explanation, no press release, nothing. Nobody knew where it was headed or what it was built for. Some said it looked exactly like a Stargate. Street anomaly. A man was out for a late-night walk in Flagstaff, Arizona, when he turned a corner and was left shocked. Hovering just above the road ahead of him was an enormous ball of blazing white light, completely silent and perfectly still. It radiated so intensely that it lit up the entire street around it, washing everything in a harsh white glow. He stood there filming, unsure whether to move closer or turn back. The longer it stayed, the more it felt like a portal formation. Then it collapsed inward on itself, and the street went dark again, as it was not even there. Mirror Gateway. In 2001, a woman standing in her bedroom in Portland, Oregon, decided to try something she had read about. She stood before her mirror, counted down from 3, and knocked on the floor. What happened next she could never fully explain. One moment, she was in her room. The next, she was standing in the middle of a vast, empty mall.
3, 2, 1.
Fluorescent lights humming overhead, shelves stretching endlessly in every direction. But there was not a single person around. She walked forward, trying to find a door to exit. Then, without any warning, she was back in her bedroom, sitting on her bed, sheets undisturbed. After this experience, she never tried anything like it again. Strange cloud glow. A A woman driving through a storm in Orlando, Florida, glanced up through her windshield and saw something glowing deep inside the clouds. A red pulsing light, moving slowly, with the clouds visibly circling around it like they were being pulled inward. Then, without warning, a loud thundering sound rolled through, loud enough to jolt the camera. Later, she showed the footage to a friend the next day, who said it might be a portal. Square portal. A woman stepped out onto a balcony in Boston, Massachusetts, for some fresh air when she saw something forming in the sky above the city. A glowing shape was emerging in the darkness, its edges radiating a deep golden light, while the inside stayed completely black. She panned the camera, and the shape expanded into a large square-like formation, its dark center pulling inward with streaks of blue light shooting toward the middle like something being drawn through. Curious, she shared the clip on Instagram, claiming it was a portal, but the viewers argued that it might be a digital sky projection. UFO in the portal. A man standing outside his home in Phoenix, Arizona, saw a blue glow hanging in the night sky. It appeared to be a cloud. He zoomed in, and that's when it got strange. Inside the glow, a structured object was visible. Triangular lights arranged in a deliberate pattern. It looked as if a UFO was there watching over the city. Then, suddenly, the glow vanished and left him shocked. Portal above Angkor. A man visiting the ancient temple complex of Angkor Wat in Siem Reap, Cambodia, pointed his camera at the sky when he saw something unusual forming above one of the towers. A swirling patch of white cloud had appeared from nowhere in the blue sky, tight and circular, glowing faintly at its edges. Then, a small dark object emerged from its center, descending slowly downward, like something that knew exactly where it was going. Then, suddenly, the formation above began to dissolve the moment it came down. He became sure that it was an alien coming down. Teleporting man. On the 14th of September, 2022, a security camera outside a home in Nashville, Tennessee, caught something that made no sense. A man was walking across the front yard late at night when he began to vanish mid-stride. Later that same night, a camera inside an apartment building recorded a figure stepping out from between the elevator doors. Same body, same dark clothing, moving calmly like someone who had just teleported from somewhere expected. When the footage was shared online, the viewers brushed it off as a hoax. Disney ring. Thousands of visitors were enjoying their evening at Disneyland in Anaheim, California, when someone in the crowd looked up and pointed to something above the park that had nothing to do with the show. It was a dark ring hovering in the sky, with a strange smoky glow around it. The crowds below kept moving, most completely unaware. The person filming zoomed in, and the ring held its shape, like a portal had opened above one of the most visited places on Earth. Mechanical ring. Tourists enjoying an afternoon at Virginia Beach, Virginia, stopped and stared when something appeared in the clouds overhead that looked nothing like a natural formation. A large dark ring was hovering in the sky, structured like it had been engineered. Blue light pulsed steadily along its inner edge, illuminating the clouds surrounding it.
I don't see it. I'm on the porch.
Tourists on the beach were filming and staring at the ring in surprise. Curious, one of them shared the clip on TikTok to ask the viewers, but the viewers were convinced that it was artificial intelligence. Mysterious gateways. A man hiking through the trails of the Swiss Alps near Lucerne, Switzerland, stopped when he saw a disc-shaped craft above the mountain range. It moved slowly toward an oval ring of white light. The craft entered the ring and vanished, taking the portal with it. That same week, across the Bosphorus Strait in Istanbul, Turkey, witnesses on the waterfront filmed something similar. A glowing ring tore open in the sky above the water, and from within it, an enormous dark structured craft pushed through, its jagged body catching the light as it cleared the portal. Then the ring sealed shut behind it, and the sky returned to normal, but the craft was floating in the sky. After watching this, the witnesses were left sure that these were aircraft of aliens passing through portals. Riyadh sighting. On the 12th of March, 2026, people were looking at the sky in shock in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. A massive dark oval had formed in the golden clouds, its edges lit with a warm amber glow from the setting sun surrounding it. Their heads tilted upward, pointing and filming. In fear, the people were running and screaming. So, what could it be? A portal opening or something far more mysterious? Let me know in the comments section. Shanghai Portal. A man driving through a street of Shanghai, China, late one night, slowed his car when he noticed something strange above the rooftops. A glowing ring had formed in the sky, hollow at the center, rotating in one fixed position. The light around its edges pulsed softly while the inside stayed completely dark. No weather event produces a shape that precise. He filmed it from the side window. Then it dimmed slowly, and the darkness swallowed it whole. He could not understand what it was, so he showed the clip to his father, who was a retired scientist, and he claimed that it might be a portal. Portal over Brazil. On the 11th of October, 2024, a man in Brazil stepped outside with his dog when something in the stormy sky stopped him cold. Suspended perfectly still above him was a glowing ring, a shimmering circle carved through the dark clouds with edges that sparkled like polished silver. It held its position without moving. Then a deep, thunderous boom rolled out from its center. The ring responded, lighting up brighter and sharper than before, and smoke began pouring out.
Oh my god.
It looked as if it were a portal waiting for something to come out. Backyard portal. A man in Naperville, Illinois, was reviewing his security camera footage when something on the screen made him stop scrolling. The night vision feed from his backyard showed a bright, glowing orb hovering just above the grass. It moved slowly at first, drifting low near the fence, then gradually rising higher, pulsing and blinking the whole time. What made it stranger was how it behaved, almost like it was searching for something. It kept shifting position, growing brighter with each pulse, until it vanished. Confused, he shared this footage with one of his friends, who claimed it looked less like an orb and more like a portal, but I would like to know your opinion on it. Sky ring. Someone in Chengdu, China, caught this on camera during a storm and had no idea what they were looking at. It started as a single sharp burst of blue-white light cutting through the dark clouds. Then it began changing. The light spread outward, curving into a wide, glowing arc. Seconds later, it formed a perfect spinning ring, with multiple circles of blue light rotating around a bright center. The clouds around it swirled like something was pulling them in. When the person shared the footage online, viewers were split. Some said it was an unusual lightning formation. Others looked at those spinning rings and said lightning simply does not behave that way. Strange smoky entity. One Sunday, a man in Franklin, Tennessee, was sitting on his porch when something in his yard caught his eye. A thick column of white smoke was rising straight up from the grass, glowing blue from inside. It spun tightly, pulling upward fast. Then, at the peak of the swirl, something burst through. It had shape, color, and movement, flaring outward through the smoke as if a winged figure.
Wow, just gorgeous.
Out of curiosity, he kept recording the moment and could not shake the feeling that it was something not from this world. But the viewers online dismissed it as a hoax. Vanishing woman. A security guard in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, was reviewing overnight CCTV footage when something made him rewind the tape. A woman in a red top was walking along the roadside at around 2 a.m. Her steps were steady, nothing unusual. Then, without warning, she simply vanished, as if she had never been there at all. The road stayed empty, and there was nothing in the footage that could explain how she disappeared. Curious, he showed the clip to one of his seniors, who suggested that she might have been an alien disguised as a woman who slipped away through an invisible portal. Strange sky formation. It was 10 at night in Fairfax, Virginia, when a woman heading home after grocery shopping noticed the sky above the tree line looked wrong. She pulled over and pointed her camera upward. Through a thick layer of cloud, two towering pillars of golden light were pushing downward, side by side, glowing intensely and casting everything beneath them in a deep amber hue.
Okay.
The clouds around them swirled slowly, parting just enough to let the light pour through. It looked less like a weather event and more like something enormous was preparing to come through from the other side. Open discussion. On the 27th of February, 2023, a farmer in rural Siberia, Russia, was out grazing his sheep on a cold winter evening when something unusual caught his eye in the distance. Standing alone in the snowy field was a tall, strange-looking figure beside a glowing purple opening that seemed to spin like a giant wheel. The light pulsed softly, casting an eerie glow across the snow. As the farmer watched, frozen in disbelief, the figure suddenly moved toward the opening and leaped inside. The purple circle appeared to twist inward, as if swallowing itself. Within seconds, both the figure and the mysterious portal vanished.
First, watch the clip carefully before the explanation. In Pocatello, Idaho, USA, a man was home alone while his parents were away when he noticed strange sounds and flashes of light outside. It looked like fireworks creating unusual patterns in the sky, almost like a glitch. The next morning, he discovered that the effect was caused by a sparking electrical transformer. Invisible force. A man was working on his laptop in his office in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, USA, unaware of what was about to happen. Suddenly, the glass table shattered on its own, as if a hidden force had struck it with great strength, breaking it into tiny pieces. Later, he reported the incident and left his job, afraid that something supernatural might be present in the office. After watching the CCTV footage, the office staff also became convinced that the place might be haunted. Flying car. On the 13th of March, 2021, a man was stuck in heavy traffic on the Tomei Expressway in Japan when he captured something unexpected. A car appeared to be flying in the air, as if it belonged to some otherworldly force. To him, it felt like a glitch in reality, so he shared the clip on Instagram to get an explanation from others. One viewer suggested that traffic may have been blocked because the car was being lifted by a crane, and the supporting cables were simply not visible on camera. Haunted school. On a routine day in Ithaca, New York, USA, students were busy in their classes when they were suddenly spooked by an unusual incident in the college. A dark shape made of smoke appeared in the hallway, and smoky shapes began to move down from the ceiling, as if something unnatural was taking form. At first, some thought it might be caused by an electrical issue, but everything seemed normal. The students recorded the moment, and many of them later refused to return to the school, fearing that it might be haunted. Strange shadow.
This is a shadow of.
A man was waiting in a parking lot late at night for his friends to come out of a club when he noticed something unsettling. A long shadow stretched across the ground, resembling a pole, yet no object nearby could explain it. So, what do you think it could be? A glitch or something far more mysterious?
There's nothing above me. It's not from that pole.
Solar halo. One sunny morning in Driggs, Idaho, a man spotted something strange in the sky. He quickly turned on his camera and captured the sun, reflecting a ring of light around it in shades of blue, light, cyan, and yellow. Out of curiosity, he shared the clip on Instagram, where one commenter suggested that it was a solar halo, also known as a 22-degree halo, caused by sunlight refracting through ice crystals in high-altitude clouds. Mid-step mystery. A delivery man was driving in Astoria, Oregon, USA, when he saw a strange man standing beside the road. What made him film the moment was a man standing motionless beside the road, frozen mid-step as if time had stopped. The delivery man stopped for a while and kept filming, hoping the man would move, but he did not. He remained in the same position until the driver left, wondering if the man was trying to grab the attention of passers-by. Tree of Sparks. In the times of artificial intelligence, it is difficult to know what is real and what is a hoax. A similar clip was shared by an unidentified source on Instagram, showing a frightening scene. It was a stormy day, and a tree was glowing orange from its trunk while smoke was coming out of it. A streak of light ran through another tree a few steps ahead before it suddenly split and collapsed with a loud sound. Now write in the comments, is it a hoax or something out of the ordinary? Glitched man. This video was shared by a person driving in Ellensburg, Washington. His camera was on as he was filming a vlog when a peculiar moment was captured. A man jogging on the pavement suddenly removed his jacket and handed it to another man who appeared out of nowhere before walking past him. Terrified, the driver quickly sped off because he became convinced that the man might have come from another dimension and there might be some mysterious link between both of them. Narrow band snow.
Whoa, look at that line.
A man was driving to a hill resort in Alaska on the 1st of September, 2004. During his journey, he experienced something unusual. Snow was falling on one side of the road, while the other side remained completely dry. He stepped out of his car and recorded the moment. Later, he researched and came to know that this was a natural phenomenon known as narrow band snow, a localized strip of intense snowfall that can occur over a very small area.
One shoe snowy, one bone dry.
Crimson sky. Sometimes we experience things our minds refuse to accept, and this kind of phenomenon occurred in Tulsa, Oklahoma, USA. Suddenly, the sky turned blood red in the evening. The residents were terrified by the apocalyptic scene and started calling it a natural glitch, but after a while, everything returned to normal. Meteorologists later claimed that this happened due to tropical cyclone Nareel, which lifted the iron-rich red dust and spread it into the atmosphere. Crack of hell. Alright, this one feels straight out of a science fiction movie. On his way to the Megamart in East Palo Alto, California, a man noticed an orange glow beneath a crack in the road. Out of curiosity, he turned on his camera and moved closer, only to be shocked by what he saw. A hot liquid was boiling beneath the surface, as if reality had glitched and revealed a glimpse of hell. Later, he shared the footage on Instagram, where one commenter suggested it might be lava, but there was no active fiery activity in California. Open discussion. This would be the creepiest real-life glitch video that you never want to miss. A girl was standing in her office in Shenzhen, China, showing a scarf to her friend on camera. But something about the scarf made the moment feel unreal. It looked so transparent that it almost seemed like a two-way mirror. The office behind it could still be seen on camera, but the girl standing behind the scarf was not visible at all. Then, she lifted the scarf over her head, and she completely disappeared. When the video was shared online, many viewers claimed it was edited just to fool people. Mysterious gateway. A hunter was searching for deer in Yosemite National Park, California, when he saw something he never expected. An unusual shape began forming in the forest. It appeared gray with green, orange, and pink light glowing inside it, as if it were a portal opening to something otherworldly. He recorded the moment before contacting the authorities, but when they arrived, they could not find anything unusual. Portal opening. One Sunday, a man was visiting Cornwall Park in Bellingham, Washington. While recording the scenery, he was suddenly shocked to see a black wave-like formation appear ahead of him. It looked as if a portal was opening and something was trying to come out of it, but could not. He continued recording for a while to see what would appear, but the formation disappeared, leaving him thinking that it might have been a glitch in the Matrix. Pupil shift. A TikToker, Arena Locke, shared a random clip of herself on TikTok which left the viewers stunned. At first, nothing unusual appeared, but then her eyes began to look strange. Her pupil was black, but it suddenly turned gray, as if something demonic was hiding inside her and trying to reveal itself on camera. However, some viewers suggested that she might naturally have gray eyes and was wearing black contact lenses that slipped from her eyes. What do you think? Strange water splash. What you're about to see is a little different from what came before, and that's exactly the point. Wow isn't just one kind of weird. It covers everything. Keep watching. On the 27th of March, 2021, a man captured a strange moment on camera in Haidian, Beijing, China. Suddenly, a splash of water struck his main door, as if someone had thrown it directly at the house. The man quickly opened the door in anger, but was shocked to see no one outside. He became convinced that it might have been poltergeist activity. However, others suggested that a passing car could have splashed water onto the door. What do you think caused it? Fading figure. Ring cameras are supposed to capture strangers outside the house, but this one recorded something truly unsettling in Farmington, New Mexico. A woman was reviewing her Ring camera footage when she saw a man walking normally along the road. Suddenly, he began to fade away from his legs, and within seconds, he completely disappeared, as if he were never there. When she showed the clip to her husband, he suggested it might be a camera glitch, but she was not convinced. Possessed dog.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my...
One Saturday night, a woman was home alone when she heard a strange sound coming from another room, which instantly filled her with fear. She slowly moved forward with her camera recording and captured her dog with glowing eyes, peeking from behind the door before quickly closing it. However, the very next day, she was casually filming her dog when it was drinking water from the sink.
Excuse me. Nada.
When she called out to it, the dog started walking on its hind legs, lifting its front legs in the air, as if something invisible was holding its paws and guiding its movement. She became convinced that her dog was possessed.
Hey, excuse me. Nada.
Glitched dog. You may have seen many glitches in reality, but this one could be one of the strangest. A man was playing with his pet dog and filming him one Sunday at his flat in Bisbee, Arizona, USA. He threw a ball, and the dog walked straight through a metal railing as if it were not even there. The dog picked up the ball and returned to him. The strangest part was that the man did not seem shocked, as if the glitch only appeared on camera, and the railing did not exist in reality. Missing head. Back in 2016, a man was driving to his office in Bandung, Indonesia, when he saw something unexpected on the road and quickly turned on his camera. A man was walking beside the road without a head, as if he were a zombie. The driver slowed down and recorded him closely, thinking the head might be lowered or hidden from view, but he was wrong. No head ever appeared on the man's neck. This terrified him, and he stepped on the accelerator, unable to understand who the man was or what had happened to his head. Split sunset. This unusual moment was captured by a man in Florida. The sky appeared divided into two parts. One side was clear, while the other was covered with clouds. He was shocked, as he had never seen anything like it before, so he recorded it and later researched the phenomenon. He discovered that this is known as a split sunset, which occurs when a large cloud, mountain, or similar obstruction below the horizon casts a shadow upward, dividing the sky into two sections. Mammatus clouds.
They're not even moving. It looks like it's hanging over us.
One evening, a strange phenomenon appeared over Galena, Illinois, USA, and left people terrified. The sky was filled with dark, bulbous clouds hanging low, creating an eerie scene. One person recorded the moment and shared it online, later discovering that these were mammatus clouds. They form when cold, moist air sinks beneath a thunderstorm's anvil, creating pouch-like cloud structures. Unlike most clouds that form from rising air, these are created by descending dense air containing ice and liquid water. They often appear after severe weather.
Feels like it could just drop and crush everything.
Mysterious projection.
How are we seeing the shadow of the tree?
This video was sent to us from Savannah, Georgia, USA, by a woman who was relaxing at her home when she heard a strange sound coming from a tree near her house. She picked up her torch and shone it on the tree. She did not see anything unusual except a shadow of the tree appearing in the sky. She was shocked because the sky is not a solid surface where a shadow can be cast. So was it a real-life glitch or something more sinister? You decide.
It doesn't make any sense.
Helicopter glitch. In Key West, Florida, USA, a man was waiting at a red signal when he heard the loud sound of a helicopter. Surprised by seeing the helicopter so low, he quickly turned on his camera and felt something off. The helicopter was moving in the air, but its blades seemed frozen, as if the engine were not running. After a while, the blades began to move slowly. At first, he thought it was a real-life glitch, but later, his friend explained that this effect can happen when a camera's shutter speed matches the rotation speed of the blades. Vortex ring. A man stopped at a Mega Mart with his son while traveling to attend a wedding in Fresno, California, USA. While looking at the sky, he noticed a circular formation made of smoke and recorded it. When he zoomed in, he saw unusual spikes around the ring. He shared the video online, believing it was a glitch in reality. However, viewers later explained that it was a vortex ring, likely produced by an industrial source which can float in the air for a long distance before fading away. Glitching sky. A woman was heading home after a late-night party with her friends in Hempstead, New York, when something strange happened. Suddenly, the sky began flickering with an unusual light, spreading an orange glow across the clouds. She became frightened, especially since there had been recent rumors of alien sightings in the area. However, when the clip was shared online, viewers suggested it was simply a natural atmospheric effect before a thunderstorm. Sprinted entity. Sometimes, street cameras capture things that human eyes cannot. A similar moment was recorded by a street camera in front of the Zughaus building in Berlin, Germany. At first, everything looked normal, but then, out of nowhere, a transparent figure appeared and moved across the pavement at an incredible speed. The moment happened so quickly that even after replaying the footage, no one could tell what it was. It left behind everything in the air to slowly settle to the ground, making it seem like something not from this world had passed by. Apocalypse swarm. On the 10th of June, 2025, a man saw something distressing over Tel Aviv, Israel. There were thousands of crows circling over the city. He was terrified because he had been living there for 20 years and had never seen anything like it before. He captured the scene and shared the clip online, claiming it was a sign of an impending apocalypse, and after 3 days, tensions between Israel and Iran escalated. Square cloud. You must watch this clip if you have never seen a square-shaped cloud before. Back in 2007, a man on a morning walk in Gakona, Alaska, USA, spotted a strange formation in the sky. A cloud appeared in an exact square shape, as if it had been placed there intentionally. It looked like something mysterious was hidden behind it. Some believe it could be linked to experiments such as the HARP project, which studies the ionosphere, while others think it is simply a rare atmospheric formation. Floating tree. 2 months ago in California, USA, a strange sight caught the attention of people working near Newport Beach. A tree appeared to float in mid-air, reflecting a faint glow. It looked as if it was being lifted by something invisible. He quickly took out his camera and recorded the moment, convinced it was a real-life glitch. However, viewers later explained that it was likely a tree being transported by a crane, which was not visible in the frame. Goat Man. One Sunday, a man was sitting at a tea stall with his friend in Shetpal, Maharashtra, India, when he witnessed something unsettling. A black goat was walking upright on two legs like a human. Every step looked perfectly balanced. One of them recorded the moment, believing it to be something unnatural. Later, after asking his father, he learned that goats can sometimes stand or walk upright to show dominance, play, or reach food on trees. Sky turned pink. In December 2004, a man was driving on Coventry Road in Birmingham, UK, when he suddenly saw something that felt unreal. The sky turned pink from black. He blinked his eyes twice, thinking his mind might be playing tricks on him, but it was real. Later, news reports revealed that the pink sky was not a natural glitch, but was caused by powerful pink LED lights used at Birmingham City's football ground. Split weather. A woman was leaving for work in Helena, Montana, USA, when something just felt off. The front of her house was wet from rain, but when she walked to the backyard, it was covered in thick snow from the same night. What makes it feel like a glitch is that both conditions existed at the exact same time, with no gradual transition between them. It looked as if two different weather conditions were existing side by side, and the reality failed to load properly in one place. Invisible obstacle. There had been a robbery inside a building in Shanghai, China, and a security guard was reviewing the CCTV footage when he noticed something strange. A man was coming upstairs while talking on the phone on his way to his apartment when his bizarre behavior was captured on camera. Just before entering, he suddenly looked up, stepped back, and carefully stepped over something, as if he clearly saw an obstacle that no one else could. He did not hesitate or seem confused, and then walked inside. The guard believed that perhaps the man's mind glitched and made him act this way. Dark shadow.
I'm like scared. There is no one standing there.
This video was shared by a woman who was out walking her pet dog. It showed a dark shadow of a person standing upright on a wall, even though there was no one nearby who could have cast it. This time, I would like you to write in the comments section and explain to whom this shadow belonged.
There is no one standing there, but there's a silhouette, like a shadow of a person.
Mirror glitch. I believe this video will definitely blow your mind because it shows a real mirror glitch. A physics teacher, feeling bored one Sunday, filmed an experiment by placing a lighter on the floor in front of a mirror. Then she placed a sheet of paper between the lighter and the mirror. Strangely, when she looked from above, the lighter was still visible in the reflection, even after it had been removed. If you do not believe it, you can try it yourself. Strange rain. In Palembang, Indonesia, a man was heading toward his car to go home after a long day shift, but what he experienced was shocking. It was raining only on his car. Surprised, he captured the moment and waited for the rain to stop. When he reached home, he showed the video to his father, who identified it as a natural phenomenon called localized rain. Glitching shape.
Yeah, they did. Oh, wait a minute.
Two friends canceled their plan of shopping on a Saturday night right after entering the parking lot of a shopping center in Jacksonville, Florida, USA, after witnessing this.
Oh, wait a minute. It's pulling it. What?
It was a round, luminous shape with a strange glow of purple and yellow moving between the parked cars. They kept recording as it suddenly shifted into long appendages and then disappeared into the sky. People online debated whether it was an edited video, but it looked too real to be a hoax.
What's eagles?
Winged horse. This video was recently uploaded by an unidentified source on Instagram and left many people scratching their heads because what it showed seemed to defy reality. The video showed a white-colored horse walking on the street, but what made it truly unusual were the wings attached to its sides. The horse outstretched its wings and then flew into the air. Some viewers believed it was something not from this world, while others argued it was created using artificial intelligence. Angelic bird. One rainy night, a man was driving back home in Bar Harbor, Maine, USA, when a strange bird suddenly flew toward his car, forcing him to stop. As he slammed on the brakes, a truck quickly passed in front of him. For a moment, he realized what could have happened if he had not stopped in time. On his way home, he could not stop thinking about the incident and began to believe that the bird might have been an angel sent by God to save his life. Glitching Bay. This video was captured by a night beachgoer on Mosquito Bay in Puerto Rico, USA. While playing with the sand, he noticed something unusual. Every time his fingers touched the surface, the sand beneath lit up in glowing blue patterns, just like a touchscreen. What made it feel like a glitch was the light appeared exactly where he touched and disappeared instantly, repeating the same response each time. It looked less like nature and more like the ground was reacting to him. Dual moon. One evening in Madrid, Spain, a man turned on his camera to record the moon in the sky. To his surprise, there were not one, but two crescent moons. One was shining brighter, and the other looked normal. Even more mysteriously, it changed its position from the left to the right side of the moon. He thought maybe his camera was glitching, but it was actually real. I would like to ask you to identify what causes the moon to appear like this in the sky and write it down in the comments section. Before you go, drop in the comments which one got you the most. Your picks help us find the next video, subscribe to our channel, and let's keep building the weird side of the world together. Thank you and see you soon!